Hello and welcome to News Central Television with me, Blessings Mosugu. The top stories at this hour. Authorities in Niger confirm recoveries of over 200 bodies, following Mokwa flood. Benue Governor Alia launches joint security crackdown. United Kingdom decries Western silence on world's worst humanitarian crisis in Sudan. We've got the details in a moment. We begin the news in Niger State, where more than 200 bodies have been recovered following the devastating flood in Mokwa local government area, according to the state's Commissioner for Humanitarian Affairs, Ahmed Suleiman. Now, Suleiman said recovery efforts are ongoing and that the full casualty figure remains unknown. He confirmed that the Niger State government has activated emergency response measures and ordered the distribution of relief materials to displaced victims now sheltered in makeshift camps. Despite these efforts, victims have expressed frustration over poor living conditions and inadequate food supplies. Some residents have claimed that although they were photographed receiving food aid, they were not given anything. However, Governor Umar Bago's administration has dispatched trailers of rice, while the governor's wife has donated 50 million naira during a visit to the affected communities. In the meantime, the Labour Party's 2023 presidential candidate Peter Obi has paid a condolence visit to Niger State following the catastrophic flash floods that swept through Mokwa local government area. Obi, accompanied by former Minister Nenadi Usman and Labour Party spokesperson Yunusa Tanko, arrived in the state to express solidarity with the affected communities. During his visit, the former Anambra State governor announced a 20 million naira donation to aid recovery efforts, reaffirming his commitment to supporting communities in crisis. Obi also made a passionate appeal for national unity in the face of tragedy, calling on the federal government, emergency agencies, and well-meaning Nigerians to rally around the victims and assist in rebuilding their lives. Meanwhile, days after the devastating flash floods in Mokwa, many students of an Islamic school located within the community are still missing. News Central Television spoke to a teacher in the school who says that the school is yet to account for several students from the 800 usually in attendance. He says that the missing students added to the flood waters in the school has compounded the situation, worsening the current tragedy. Our correspondent Joshua Imarai has the report.
Before the flood ravaged Mokwa, this Islamic school echoed with recitations and learning. Today, it is a shadow of its former self.
Kamar da yadda muka sani dai akwai wani lokaci da na kirga ɗaliban nan muka samu mutum 800 daga baya irin waɗanda ba sa nan sai suka dawo muka tambaye su me yasa ba su zauna makaranta ba sai muka samu mutum 70 suka zama 870 kenan.
The flood swept through Mokwa as families still reel from its after effects and the pain and destruction it left behind. For this teacher, the damage was not just felt on buildings, but also on lives.
Daga nan sai muka fita muna neman wayanda ruwa ya wuce da su. Sai na je na samu gawan mutum biyu. To daga nan kuma mutum daya muna neman shi ba mu gan shi amma mun ga lokacin da ruwa ya wuce da shi daga wurin masallaci. To gaskiya abin ba daɗi, dole ne mutum ba zai ji daɗi ba.
Many of the children under his care are between the ages of 5 to 15. He says that he hopes the government will come to their aid.
Kaga abun ba ni kadai ya shafa ba, kuma duka gwamnati ita dai al'ummanta ne, kuma duk wani taimakon Allah da zai zo mun sani zai zo ne daga gurin Allah. Ina fatan gane ko taimako dai na ubangiji ne, Allah shi ya bayar kuma shi zai ansa ko. To kuma ita gwamnati ta sani dai, ta san gyara, ta san abin da idan ta yi gyara ne. To mu muna roƙon Allah ya bata iko da ta yi mana abin da ya dace, wanda kowa zai amfana da abin da ya same shi kuma zai ji sauƙin raɗaɗin abin da ya same shi.
For this teacher, every name is a prayer and every silence a question. In a flood that took everything, he holds on to faith that the students will return one by one. In Mokwa, Niger State, for News Central, I am Joshua Imarai.
Now, our correspondent Joshua Marai, who has been monitoring the developments in Mokwa, now joins us to give us more update. Joshua Marai, thank you for joining us. Now, from yesterday up until this moment, I know that you have been monitoring, and we did speak yesterday, and you gave a little bit of update. Can you give us the latest on the situation in Mokwa right now, especially in the aftermath of high-profile visits and donations since yesterday from dignitaries like Governor Umar Bago and Peter Obi?
Well, for the past few days, this is the first time that an intervention proper will happen. I'm currently live at one of the warehouse stores that they store this particular product. And here with me is somebody who would like to give us his own experience of the entire situation as it has been unfolding. Good morning, sir.
Hello, good morning.
Tell us your name, sir.
My name is Mohamed Saba.
Okay, so since this flood happened, have you received any intervention, relief material, or any other kind of thing to make you comfortable for the time being?
No, sir.
Why is that?
We here, this area, we just thank God. As in, we get something to do, to get money, but we don't see any this thing say help like this. We don't see them because we don't get chairman. We just have Seriki. Now we see for here every time.
Well, your Sariki be they talk something, say no camp day.
You know day. We don't see camp.
So where you they sleep now?
Oh, the place where things happen now they sleep.
The place where the flood happened now they sleep.
Yeah.
So how you tell they cope up? How you tell they change clothes? They drink water, they bath, they do other things.
Okay, the clothes what would they get? What would they just they manage ourselves just like that, okay? Even this clothes when you see me I wear, now my friend can't give me this clothes.
Okay, I understand. Say many people lose family members. Some family members die. How about you?
Okay, our family won't lose. I know if you talk to myself. It's what we just see now. We see five people.
Some they still alive or they don't die.
They don't die.
5 people.
Yes, sir.
How many people they miss for your house?
For our house, 18.
18 people they miss.
Yes, sir.
And you don't see 5 dead bodies.
We see 5 people.
Okay. Thank you very much. So you just heard it from Mr. Sabo. He's you can go, sir. He's one of the victims that have been affected by the flood. You just heard it from his mouth. There is no camp for them to actually stay for the time being. And this is the plight of many others who are in Mokwa local government area, particularly Angwan House, Sawa, where the flood actually affected mostly. Over to you, Blessing.
Joshua, you also did mention when we had the conversation earlier on Jasiri about the relief distribution, and it's quite sad because you talked about the fact that relief has actually been sent to these areas, but they've been locked up in sort of a warehouse. Can you give more clarity on that?
Yes, since for the past few days now, it is almost 5 days since this flood actually happened, and this relief materials, they've been donated by well-meaning Nigerians, the governor of the state, as well as former Anambra State Governor Peter Obi also donated monetary commitments to them. But unfortunately, these persons have not received anything from that. Now, when we push them further, they reveal to us that most of these things have been locked in one warehouse or the other. Some say they've been locked in the local government area secretariat. So this is where we are. They are gathered here in expectant of relief material to be shared. They are gathered here, as you can see. Most of them are women from the household of whom these things affected. Most of them are rural settlement dwellers. And as you can see, they are still waiting. We're hopeful that some relief materials will come to them, but nothing is being shared to them. We are still waiting to see if anything will come out of this gathering or not.
All right, Joshua, I would also like to find out, there are reports of victims frustration over the tragedy. What are they saying on ground about the conditions in some of the makeshift places that that was probably provided for them, or they provided for themselves? Because I know that they're staying in a primary school as opposed to an IDP camp. Has the government responded to this so far, seeing as there has been high-profile visits to that area?
Well, the particular place they actually settled for them to stay for the time being is Brigade Nursery and Primary School in this same area. Unfortunately, that place is not in good conditions. They lack running water. Now, one of the major things that people like this need to forestall any kind of disease or outbreaks is running water. That place lacks running water. And it will interest you to know that this flood actually carted away their transformer. So this place has been here for a few days now without light. Now, you know, most of these things depend on light to pump water and the like. So no light, nothing for them. Now, on the nature of the camp they actually settled for them, well, that place is not in a good condition, because me myself, I will paid a visit to that particular place, and this place has squeaky doors. Some of them have leaking roof. They are not in a conducive state for them to for that place to accommodate as much persons that have been affected. You will understand that it is estimated that over 3,000 people have been affected by this flooding. So for a primary school to accommodate over 3,000 persons, it's something that we don't see feasible. Well, the government is here to say anything concerning that particular settlement. They've not provided an alternative, neither have they appointed to a place that will accommodate these people for the time being.
All right, Joshua Imarai, we also understand that there has been over 200 bodies recovered, and based on what the interview you had earlier with the young man, they're still searching for some, and it's no longer looking like a search and rescue effort. It's just looking like excavation and all. Has there been any updates on the final death toll?
Well, the last thing we heard from authorities, that is particularly the deputy governor of the state, while receiving Peter Obi, he said that for now that the bodies they've recovered is pegged at 200 and something. That's not adding those that have been recovered by their family members or friends and well-wishers of those. Well, this is just an estimation. The final toll is something they cannot wrap their hands around, because they can't estimate how much people has died as a result of this flooding. And some of them have been buried along river banks as well as the coastline where the water actually took its roots through. So we just can't pinpoint how many people have died, but we know that over 1,000 persons are still missing as a result of this flooding that happened here in Mokwa.
All right, we also did hear disturbing reports about missing children from an Islamic school in the area. Is there more update on that situation? Has there been any progress in locating those students?
Well, so far we've not heard anything concerning those people yet. We are still hopeful that they will find some of them they are missing. But what we know is that the Islamic school teacher has under his custody over 800 pupils. Unfortunately, he could barely count to up to 200 as those alive and surviving the incident that happened here in Mokwa. So basically, he's too hopeful and in prayers that he's going to see people's children. Most of these children are not his children. They are people that came from several parts of the country to stay with him and receive Islamic tutelage on Arabic knowledge and the likes. However, we are still hopeful that he's going to see some. But he told me that they've recovered an amount of dead bodies, and some of them they've not seen some of those dead bodies too that they saw floating on the water on the day that the flood happened. So we are just hopeful that we are, and will try as much as we can to cover the entire situation, and we are hopeful that more people who are alive will come out to say they survived the flooding.
Before we let you go, Joshua, with so many displaced and so many grieving, what sort of medical or at least psychological support is available for survivors and the families that are affected by the floods? Because it's really a lot to take in. We hear that some persons are losing up to 21 family members in a day to the flooding.
One thing I can confirm to you is that these people here, they lack government presence. There is no health official around to check on their vitals, to see if they are feeling well, or to administer drugs. The last time I paid a visit to one of the camps, that's the Peggy Nursery and Primary School, what I counted there were just paracetamol sachets on the ground. That is the only medication they've given to these individuals. And as you know, once a flooding incident occurs, people who are around are susceptible to all kinds of ailments that are waterborne and airborne, because most times you find people who are buried in the debris, and as time goes on, these particular carcasses decompose and becomes a health risk. However, no health official is around, donor agency, we are still expecting to see them. This place is just being left in isolation, and they only have their fellow neighbors' shoulder to cry on. So that is what we see here.
All right, Joshua Marai, thank you so much for bringing us the update on Moka local government, and we're hoping that by a stroke of luck we can at least get more people rescued, but I mean, of course, we'll definitely look to you for more updates. Thank you so much. Now, still on natural disaster stories, torrential rains in the early hours of Monday wreaked havoc in Ibadan's Dugbe area, damaging properties and causing the partial collapse of a building under construction. The affected structure, reportedly owned by a fast food outlet, gave way under the sheer intensity of the downpour. Now, while no casualties have been recorded just yet, the Oyo State government has launched a full investigation into the incident. Commissioner for Lands, Housing and Urban Development Williams Akin Fumilayo pointed to the likely use of substandard materials as a contributing factor, describing the collapse as an avoidable tragedy. He reaffirmed the government's commitment to enforcing safety standards and ensuring stricter compliance across construction sites in the state. Now, assessment teams have already been deployed with new measures expected to tighten building regulations and prevent future incidents. You're still live with us on the news. We'll go on a short break, and when we come back, we'll tell you more about the stories we've got. Stay with us. Many thanks for staying with us on the news. Now, a delegation from Ogun State has visited Kanu to commiserate with families of 22 athletes who died in a road accident and has donated 22 million naira as support. Led by Deputy Governor Noimot Salako Oyedele, the team conveyed Governor Dapo Abiodun's condolences and offered 1 million naira to each grieving family. Meanwhile, Salako Oyedele described the incident as a tragic loss for Kanu, the athletic community, and Nigeria, praying for divine comfort and forgiveness for the deceased. The delegation, including top state officials, was received by Kanu's Deputy Governor Aminu Gwazo, who expressed gratitude for the solidarity. The victims died last Saturday in a crash at Gadar Yankifi, Garud Malam. According to the FRSC, the bus had 32 passengers, 22 died, and others sustained injuries. Now, the Lagos State government has announced plans to reintroduce the monthly environmental sanitation exercise across the state. Commissioner for the Environment and Water Resources, Tokunbo Wahab, said a formal commencement date will be made public soon. Wahab made this known after inspecting areas including Idiaraba, Orile Igomo, and Alabarago, stressing that sanitation must become a daily habit. At Alabarago Market, Wahab warned traders to remove illegal structures and stop dumping waste on road medians and drainage setbacks. He gave them until Monday evening to comply, or the market risks being sealed. Wahab also reminded residents and traders that Lagos environmental laws prohibit street trading and indiscriminate waste disposal, urging the public to support the government's efforts by taking responsibility for proper sanitation and waste management. Now, Edo State government has reintroduced its monthly environmental sanitation 8 years after suspension. The exercise will occur every last Saturday from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. News Central's correspondent Israel Ifirobo reports.
After an 8-year pause, the Edo State government has revived its monthly environmental sanitation exercise, an initiative now being held every last Saturday of the month from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. Deputy Governor Dennis Idahosa supervised the cleanup exercise.
This exercise must not be seen as a mere routine, but a clarion call and a civic responsibility for each and every one of us to take ownership of our environment, to cherish the land that we call our homes, and to work together for a cleaner, healthier, and more sustainable Edo State that guarantees a healthy living.
To ensure full compliance, 19 mobile courts were set up across the state, where officials say some violators have been prosecuted for violating the order. Managing Director of the State Waste Management Board, Lucky Enehita Inegbenehi, says sensitization is ongoing to get everyone on board.
People talks about sensitization. Sensitizing people from those states, creating awareness here and there, which we have been doing. Almost every day you see me on TV station, you see me on radio station. That's the first P, talking about the people, sensitizing people, and also the work for the people. Work for my employees, so that's the first P. And the second P talks about planet, prioritizing our environment.
Some residents share their thoughts on the exercise.
It is commendable for Governor Modu Okpebholo, the executive governor of the state, to reintroduce the environmental sanitation exercise. In fact, Edo State has now become a reference point to other states.
As far as I'm concerned, it's a good development. It makes people to take care of the environment. A lot of diseases will be avoided.
For the past 8 years, this thing has not come much. So for the first time, people come out to clean up their houses, environment. It was fantastic.
The driver of this vision is His Excellency Senator Modu Okpebholo, the executive governor of Edo State. His vision is very clear. He wants to make Edo State the cleanest, the healthiest, and most environmentally friendly. So these are his ways, and this is his vision.
With civic participation, stricter enforcement, plus government support, it is believed and hoped that the reintroduction of the monthly environmental sanitation exercise here in Edo State will mark an era for a cleaner, healthier state. In Benin City, Edo State, for News Central, Israel Ifenroba.
And now in Benue State, Governor Hyacinth Alia has directed a full-scale joint security operation into Apa and Gwer West local government areas in a bid to stop the escalating violence that has claimed more than 20 lives. Speaking to journalists after an emergency security council meeting at the government house on Monday, the governor confirmed that 12 people were killed in Apa and another 11 in Gwer West. Alia condemned the attacks in strong terms, describing them as unacceptable and deeply troubling. He assured residents that security forces have been mobilized and are already on the ground to secure the affected communities. He also noted that casualty figures may change as operations continue, with teams directed to sweep through the area, assess the damage, and work to restore peace and order. Still on security matters, residents of Enugu State, southeast Nigeria, may appear to have overcome the fear of Monday instilled by the sit-at-home order. There are, however, fears in some quarters about the day due to possible surprise by the non-state actors. News Central's Chinwe Ugeli reports.
Some are traders, some technicians, and others civil servants. Most residents of Enugu still have their reservations on the issue and prefer not to speak about it. However, the few who did confirm the state is a lot peaceful these days.
Here in Enugu, we don't hear things like that. The Enugu state is very calm. So it's all this while we are experiencing a very calm environmental situation.
Nelson Owuji does not fail to hint of how much courage he has opening his business on Mondays.
Actually, we're no longer scared coming out on Mondays, because initially we were scared. Days back, I used to come out around 12, 11. But this time around, I come around 9. There is still fear.
As for Justice Swama, the order for a sit-at-home is not the only thing that deters some people from coming out on Monday. He says Mondays have become a rest day for him as he now chooses to come out after midday.
Personally, me, I'm enjoying every Monday. Being a sit-at-home, I'm enjoying it. See, we don't have rest in this part. Mostly the men, they hustle from Monday to Sunday. But God used this opportunity of sit-at-home to give us little rest.
The police public relations officer Daniel Ndukwe says such order is now in the past, as those still complying to aid are only acting on their own volition.
Even the police looking at security situation, we might say, please sit back to avoid issues. But so of such sit-at-home order remains illegal. And as far as Enugu State is concerned, it's in the past. You are in Enugu, move around. If you say anything, probably call me back. Let me know the part of Enugu you would have been observing that. I'm sure in Enugu, you've gone to so many places at your backyard. It's a Monday. It's not a Tuesday, it's not any other day. So, as far as we know in Enugu State, I'm in the office and every other person is. And there's life out there. Whoever chooses not to go out, well, I think it's at the person's personal decision of discretion.
The city of Enugu is alive to daily normal activities, and so are the communities in the remote areas, Monday or not. In Enugu for News Central, Chinwe Ugele.
And now to politics. Promises to unseat President Bola Tinubu at the upcoming 2027 general elections is gaining momentum as the former Minister of Transportation, Rotimi Amechi, the former Vice President of Nigeria, Atiku Abubakar, the former Governor of Kaduna State, Nasir El-Rufai, and several others say that the current administration has impoverished Nigerians, weaponizing poverty and increasing hardship in the country. This was as they converged on the nation's capital, Abuja, for the 60th birthday lecture of the former Minister of Transportation, where they vowed to go ahead with their proposed coalition, saying it will serve as a means to achieve their purpose. Amadine Uyi reports.
It was a gathering of Nigeria's political elites, many of them discontented with the performance of the current APC-led government. The 60th birthday lecture was organized by the former Minister of Transportation, Rotimi Amechi, with the theme, Weaponization of Poverty as a Means of Underdevelopment, a case study of Nigeria. Some present say that the challenges facing the country has become enormous, with Nigeria now facing a crisis.
For all those who are saying, oh, we have to be careful before the country, before we get into a crisis, please wake up. We're living with banditry, with Boko Haram, with ISIS, and you're still saying that there will be a problem. What are we waiting for now? We're already there. We are already in crisis.
Keynote speakers at the lecture include the former governor of Kaduna State, Nasir El-Rufai, the former vice president of Nigeria, Atiku Abubakar, and several other notable personalities. Despite commending Amechi for his birthday celebration, they said that Nigeria is in urgent need of a fix, and informed those present of the need to band together to wrestle power from the current government.
We are all hungry. All of us are. If you're not hungry, I am. You may laugh. So for us, the opposition, if you want us to remove the man in power, we can remove him from this power.
Nigeria is in its biggest problem since 1940. We're together working, conspiring to build a coalition to take Nigeria back on track.
This particular government is weaponizing poverty. You may call me a conspirator, you may call me anything, and that is why we are in this alliance, to make sure we don't allow them to continue weaponizing policy.
The former Minister of Transportation also took a swipe at President Bola Tinubu, accusing him of being incapable of solving the nation's challenges.
President Tinubu said it has, our suffering has come to an end yesterday. Has anybody's diet changed? How many of you can buy a cup of garri at the rate? You know, the problem with Nigeria is, if you say the last president was very bad, the incoming one will be worse.
With talks about forming a coalition ahead of the upcoming 2027 general elections gathering momentum, these political heavyweights, according to Nigeria standards, are positive that they can form a consensus and give the ruling All Progressives Congress a run for their money. In Abuja for News Central, I am Amadine Uyi.
Meanwhile, the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, has blasted members of the coalition led by the former Vice President of Nigeria, Atiku Abubakar, over allegations of non-performance of the current administration and promoting poverty among citizens. Wike, during a media chat in Abuja, says that the allegations made during the 60th birthday celebration lecture of the former governor of Rivers State, Rotimi Amechi, with the theme Weaponization of Poverty as a Means of Underdevelopment, which held in the nation's capital, Abuja, is shameful, false, and an attempt to mislead Nigerians.
I don't know how a man will choose his 60th birthday to tell lies. It's unfortunate. Of all time, it's your 60th birthday that people are celebrating you. You used to tell lies to Nigerians. You are hungry. Let us tell ourselves this. He was speaker 1999 to 2007. And if anybody knows, he was the most pampered speaker. Then he was reading law in London as a speaker 1999 to 2007. He became a governor 2007 to 2015. He was still reading law. How do you look at it? How do you insult Nigerians? How do you trivialize the issue of hunger or poverty? Why do you do that? You're insulting Nigerians. You joined Atiku. You joined Alpha because you are hungry.
Nigeria's Minister of State for Works, Bello Goronyo, has attributed the deteriorating condition of roads across the country to underfunding of the Federal Roads Maintenance Agency, which he says requires 880 billion naira annually to function optimally. Goronyo made the remarks during an appearance before the House of Representatives ad hoc committee investigating the implementation and remittance of the 5% user charge on petroleum and diesel, as mandated under the Firma Act of 2007. Our correspondent, Idong Joseph, has more on this report.
The probe into the non-implementation of the remittance of 5% user charge on petroleum products earmarked for road maintenance under the FEMA Amendments Act began on March 19, 2025, after the House of Representatives adopted a motion calling for legislative intervention. Following this, the House constituted an ad hoc committee to investigate the issue.
It is important to recall that Section 14, subsection 1H of the FEMA Amendment Act 2007 stipulates clearly that 5% of the pump price of petrol and diesel should be allocated to FEMA and the state maintenance agencies in the proportion of 40% and 60% respectively. However, over the years, this section of the Act has been complied more in breach.
And we believe very strongly that this provision of the law can be best implemented during this time of deregulation.
At the committee's investigative hearing, both the Ministry of Works and FEMA decried the inadequacy of funds allocated for road maintenance, revealing that the agency received less than 400 billion naira over the past 3 years, far below the 880 billion naira required annually.
The current funding of the agency has been far below the existing challenges on the road network.
2025, which is 103 billion naira, 2024, which is 103 billion naira, and an appreciable increase of 168 billion naira in the 2025 budget of this year. Though these figures shows gradual increase, but they remain far below the necessary threshold for sustainable road maintenance.
Meanwhile, the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority argued that the FEMA Amendment Act does not clearly define how the 5% charges should be applied on pump prices, nor does it specify which agency is responsible for collecting it. However, lawmakers pushed back, insisting that the law is unambiguous and must be enforced. In Abuja for News Central, Idong Joseph.
Now, several courts across the Federal Capital Territory were under lock and key on Monday as members of the Judiciary Staff Union of Nigeria began an indefinite strike over unmet demands. The industrial action follows a breakdown in negotiations with the Minister of Labour and Employment. News Central Sagir Ibrahim monitored the level of compliance across major courts in the FCT and now reports.
The industrial action, which commenced at midnight on June 1, was declared via a circular issued by the leadership of the Judiciary Staff Union of Nigeria. At the heart of the strike are long-standing demands, including the payment of 5 months' wage awards, implementation of the 70,000 naira national minimum wage, and a 25 to 35% salary increment for judiciary workers, demands the union says remains unfulfilled. Despite the directive, some chapters of the union opted out of the strike at the last minute. At the Supreme Court and National Judicial Council, operations continued. The chapter chairman of JUSN at the Apex Court attributed the decision to a personal sense of duty and patriotism.
You pay 300,000 naira from Lagos air tickets to come to Supreme Court. You pay accommodation only to enter Supreme Court, as they said no, you cannot be allowed in, and you are paying the same amount going back. That's irresponsible on our side, and we cannot continue to do that. Nigeria has to be good, and it starts with us. We are sure that the issue will be addressed.
However, the situation was different at other courts, from the Federal High Court to the National Industrial Court and the FCT High Court. Full compliance with the strike was observed and strictly enforced. Gomina Yusuf, Vice Chairman of the FCT High Court JUSN chapter, says the government's inaction has left workers with no alternative.
So far, we've been having this back and front. They will ask for time, and it is that time we don't have. So the only thing we can do is they push us to this level. They are aware of it, and the last meeting we had was a Friday. We had another one on Saturday, even yesterday, before we came to this conclusion.
For many unsuspecting litigants and court users, the shutdown has come at a cost. Wasted time, resources, and rescheduled proceedings.
It has disorganized my program because the court, I was supposed to go to Gowalada today to file this particular document, to submit this particular document if it had been signed and sealed with their stamp. But as it is now, I can't do that. You understand? Even the court at Gowalada is also on strike.
While no resumption date has been announced, many Nigerians are hopeful that the government will intervene promptly to address the issues and restore operations in a sector often described as the last hope of the common man. In Abuja for News Central, Sagir Ibrahim.
Meanwhile, the indefinite strike declared by the Judicial Staff Union of Nigeria was in full swing at the Federal High Court and Court of Appeal in Port Harcourt, Rivers State. Litigants and lawyers who were stranded at the courts on Monday lamented that the practice contributed largely to the delay in the justice system in Nigeria. News Central's correspondent Biola Festus reports that legal practitioners who were scheduled for court proceedings expressed their disappointment seeing the premises under lock and key.
Slowing down the justice system, like me now, I came here to obtain ruling of the justices. Because I needed it to use as an affidavit to the processes and filing, where I needed to appeal to the Supreme Court because the ruling, we are not comfortable, my client is not comfortable with the ruling, so we need to appeal to the Supreme Court. Now the place is locked. I'm not going to get the ruling of the Court of Appeal to enable me move my appeal to Supreme Court. Lawyers are frustrated. I can't come here tomorrow
and all the money I'm supposed to make tomorrow as a legal practitioner, I can't make the money again. So it's affecting MBA generally. So please, we are appealing to the federal government. Meet with these people, settle them. We want the business of the court to continue.
We have the zeal to work. We are anxious of the work. The work is not the issue. What we say, we have exercised a lot of patience. It didn't start today. They keep promising, and we felt enough is enough. They have fooled us for a very long time. So all we want and all we are saying that we just want those things being done. Let us see it with our eyes. Not to say, please call off. Let's go back to the round table. As we speak, we are not ready to go to the table anymore. There's nothing new they are going to tell us. So the best bet is that let us see the alert and we'll call off immediately. If by the time I go to bed, alert comes in, I know my leader will say, oh, Kennedy, please, let work commence, and we will.
Coming up on the news, Sudan's devastating war escalates. We'll bring you more details after the break. Hey, thanks for staying with us on the news. Now to more stories. Britain's Foreign Secretary David Lammy has raised alarm over what he describes as the world's worst humanitarian crisis, the ongoing war in Sudan. Lammy made the remarks at a high-level forum in Morocco where he criticized what he called the West's deafening silence, citing ambivalence, equivocation, and certainly an absence of exposure to the crisis. Since April 2023, Sudan has been gripped by a brutal power struggle between the country's regular armed forces and the paramilitary's rapid support forces. The war has killed tens of thousands, displaced more than 13 million people, nearly a quarter of the population, and pushed parts of the country to the brink of famine.
In Sudan and that flows from Sudan is the worst humanitarian catastrophe in the world currently, and it is a matter of deep concern that there has been an ambivalence, equivocation, and certainly an absence of exposure to this crisis globally and across much of the West. So that is why I made up my mind very early in office that I would do all I could as UK Foreign Secretary to draw attention to this crisis. And if you look at my feed on X, Sudan is number one. Why has
Well, that's all on the news at this hour, but before we go, let's take another look at some of our major stories. Now, we told you authorities in Niger confirmed recovery of over 200 bodies following Mokwa flood. We also mentioned Benue Governor Ali launches joint security crackdown. And finally, we told you that United Kingdom decries Western silence on world's worst humanitarian crisis in Sudan. Remember, you may follow us, send your eyewitness report on the WhatsApp number on the screen. And also follow us on social media. We are at News Central TV. You can watch News Central live on DSTV channel 422, GoTV channel 23, StarTimes channel 274, Avo TV, and YouTube. Many thanks for watching. I'm Blessings Wasudu.